I was a really big fan of Penny Arcade. I had started looking at Penny Arcade almost when it first started, like 98 or 99. And I stumbled upon it. I was playing Jedi Knight, the old multiplayer Star Wars game. I was in a clan, and one of the people that was in my clan sent me this comic, and it was the Tribes one, which was hilarious because we also played Tribes at the time. And so it was super authentic and genuine video game humor. I thought it was amazing. And I started looking at their comic, and then they started to like get a following. Not a whole lot of people, but it ended up being like a community of folks. It wasn't too long before that both Mike and Jerry, Tycho and Gabe, quit their day jobs and they did Penny Arcade full time. And I was like, okay, so there are two guys out there that play video games all day long for their job, and they make three comics a week, and they're making a really good living. I want to do that. That is amazing. And I'd always loved video games, of course. Like growing up, loved video games since I was a kid. I really thought of them as artwork, which is another thing that Tycho especially wrote about a lot. And I'd always had a website where I'd done like video game reviews and some small things. And I was like, I want to do something. I want to do, and for some reason, the idea of a radio show sounded fun. This was before podcasts, so there were no podcasts. There were no iPods yet. Um, so we decided to do a radio show about video games in a very small way, inspired by the format of The Daily Show. And so I was like, well, why don't we put our episode and just have it loop? So I made my own Shoutcast server from my room there and just had that one episode repeat over and over again. And to our surprise, after a week or so, we had a few listeners.
Hey, what's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to this show on this fine February the 8th, 2003. As always, I'm BreakmanX.
And I am Ricky, the resident PC gamer.
And I'm Shadow.
And this is BDG.
And Jack Burton.
What's up?
How are you doing, Q?
I'm audible now.
I can hear you. Yeah, you weren't talking very loud.
I have to eat the mic, I guess.
Yes, you should eat the mic.
What else,
special?
What else can EA buy?
They just bought BreakmanX.com. I can't believe this. I just got an email.
We just got bought.
They just bought. I mean, quality's gonna go down. Oh my god, it already did. I was like, hey, you want to do this radio show with me? And he was like, no. No one's going to listen to that. Why would we do something like that? And I was like, well, don't think of it like that. Just let's do it for fun. And no one's going to listen, and that's fine. But let's, maybe it'll just be fun. And that's kind of how I thought. I really didn't think anyone was going to listen to it. Completely was doing it for fun. We recorded our first episode. It was originally going to have like video along with it, like everything we talked about. And I even say that in the recording. Like you're probably seeing clips and stuff. And I started editing video to it, but this is when video editing software was super buggy and I couldn't even get it to export. So I said, screw that, and just released it as an audio recording.
Hey, what's up? This is BreakmanX and my pal Richie.
Hi, how you doing?
We're going to be bringing you all the latest news this week in gaming, and hopefully every week we'll be giving you some good updates and letting you come back. Well, let's start by introducing ourselves, being this is the first episode. Like I said, I'm BreakmanX, also known as Matt, if you want to get personal. I'm a freshman at the University of Kansas. I'm majoring in computer science and film, but I'm also taking Japanese and plan on taking it all 4 years. I want to be in game development, although I'm thinking about gaming journalism, but game development I think is where I'm going to go. I've liked video games since I first saw the Atari, when I was really, really small. Didn't play it that much, but when I got my NES and actually saw my friends play it, and I rented it a while before I got it, I was just completely turned into a hardcore gamer. If you'd have asked me in first grade what my favorite sport was, I would have said Nintendo. I've always been a hardcore gamer.
What was working with Spielberg like?
It was completely amazing. It was an inspiration every day. He was on a courageous path to create an archive of Holocaust survivors. I think while he was doing it, the final number surpassed 220,000. And these are interviews that are 2 hours long. Some of them were 5 hours long. But this was in his early days, and I had just finished editing 5 of the 6 hours of the Native American series and supervising the sixth. And I went on a major career-changing path with that because I switched from features to documentaries, mostly because our second child was born.
Hey, what's up? This is BreakmanX, and I'm reporting to you from the Xbox Media Group. Hey, Pete Larson just came out and shook our hand because he remembered us. We're about to go into the focus. Are you ready for some Eat Drizzle?
Halo 2. Thanks for coming. Doug Wood. I'm one of the animators on Half-Life 2. Now I'm a demo guy. So I'm going to show you some clips of Half-Life 2 being played. Last year was more of a technology, show you what the source can do. This year, just took clips of us playing the game. I'm going to show you that, and after that, I'm going to show you what we're going to do for multiplayer to Half-Life 2.
Shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on a job. No one is more.
I'd been a Penny Arcade fan basically since the beginning. Their influence in the industry really can't be overstated. One of my first big goals then for the show was to interview the creators of Penny Arcade, Mike Krahulik and Jerry Holkins. And right around the time that they started to really kick off, I got the chance to interview them in person. Our host literally thought we had a virus with so many hits. In a couple years, they were on the Time Top 100 list next to Simon Cowell. Not too long after the interview, we got front paged on Penny Arcade talking about Jack Burton and I playing some Crimson Skies. And hung out with them when we went to Bungie. I stayed in touch with Jerry and love to have conversations whenever I bump into him.
It's kind of interesting to look back on it now and see what we were doing at the time. Nobody else was doing, other than these really big publications. And
Went into the Nintendo booth, was actually playing with some GameSpot guys, some multiplayer.
other than what we were doing, you know, really GameSpot was really the only other real publication. Like, they were the actual publication that was actually doing anything close to what we were doing with their on-the-spot show.
We're at Breakman's house. His computer is quite messy.
I know, the whole experience, I would say, was amazing. For, like I said, for a dumb college kid from Kansas, it was the experience of a lifetime. Like, I learned more about video games in that 2 years, and probably, you know, more than I ever should have known about video games in that 2 years than I ever really thought I would. Got to meet some really awesome people. Got to have some really awesome experiences. It was a blast. I really enjoyed my time doing it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
And I'm Jack Burton, and we will see you guys later.
One of my friends was like, dude, you got a video. I was like,
All right, cool.
all right.
Just remember when you have it that you wanted it.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to video these jackasses.
We did the interview with them outside in the Kansas cold because the convention center wouldn't let us stay inside. It was a really fun interview. And there's a funny part because Jerry was like impressed that I had this army of people helping me. Because if you look at the picture, there's like 1,000 people in the picture with us, and then one person we don't even know, but everyone else was affiliated with us. And he was like, how do you have all these people that are willing to like do all this for you? And it's like, I don't know.
When did you start to realize that all this was starting to, explode and become as popular as it is?
It's still, like I said, it hasn't really set in.
No, you being here, asking me questions with a microphone.
Yeah,
Your friend is holding a laptop. You have another friend that's holding a camcorder at me. I want you to tell me if that seems surreal or not.
It's believe me, it's as awesome for us, or is more for us than it is for you guys.
It is still very, very strange. So we can't deny it. At this point, with this situation, we cannot deny that the strip has become popular. But
Tara actually played Mike in Puyo Pop, which is a puzzle game, and either beat him or gave him a really, really tough match. I'm pretty sure she beat him, which was really funny, and he was not incredibly happy about it. We cut the interview. We played it live on the next show, and then we put it up, and we literally started getting tons and tons of hits. And then it caught on, and then the Penny Arcade fan site put it there. And then we started getting tons and tons of hits. The Penny Arcade guys put it on their forums, and we started getting even more hits. And it was like, it broke our server. It broke it.
All right. First off on the game show, I'd just like to thank the Penny Arcade guys, Gabe and Tycho, for doing an interview with us last weekend. Not only did they do an interview for us, but they also let us video them, and they braved the frickin' Kansas wind, which, as us Kansas know, changes very frequently. But the weekend they were here, it happened to be colder than shit.
Roger, 2/3 of the way through, comes storming up the aisle, goes right by me, and there's a guy in the back of the theater. And he's looking at the screen, and he is about to yell something, and Roger stands over him, and he punches him like this really hard and says, "Stop laughing, this is a serious sci-fi movie." And he's there with his arms folded like this, and, I'm standing in the back of the theater not far from him going, "My God." And Roger, after a while, gets up, and Roger has his head.
Working on the show, both in its Breakman guys, and later on was redubbed as Padinga. Going out on trips with everybody out to like E3 and everything, and doing reporting out there was always a wild time.
There it is.
I mean, we're a small website, always trying to get our reach. And while I've always said we were kind of like, cutting edge, being a show and a podcast and everything before it was like as big as it is now, at the time, everyone was more focused on the big, written outlets. That's where all the focus and everything kind of tended to go. So I was always fighting for our position to get in and see, what games we could. Yeah, but every time we could, it was a lot of fun.
We got the Halo 2 interview the next month, a month and a half after that. We got it scheduled, and it was really nerve-wracking because I knew that the lawyers were listening.
Hey, what's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on May 17th, 2003. We've got a very special show today for you with a programmer, Mr. Greg Snook of Bungie.
Hey everybody, this is Greg here with our upcoming plans of world domination.
Yeah, so Greg, why don't you tell us about Halo 2?
Well, Halo 2 is everything that Halo has and more. Hopefully folks have been able to see the video we posted on the internet showing some of the demo that we were doing at E3. We're hoping it lives up to the hype that it's Halo 1 wrapped in bacon and fried in butter. It's got tons of new features, and we really hope that the fans like it.
Halo 2.
We're talking with Greg. All the Halo 2 fanboys were listening. That was equally stressful. We got posted on halo.bungie.net and the fan site. So as we're listening, as we're broadcasting, it took our broadcast down because there were so many people listening to it. There just wasn't enough bandwidth. And you hear me on the episode saying, there's so many listeners, sorry if you can't hear us right now.
It looks like people are having connection troubles because of the overwhelming amount of listeners we're having. I greatly apologize for this, but we've just got so many listeners out there. If you're having a problem listening, please message me. But this will be available in MP3 format after the show, and you can keep writing in your questions and things like that.
You know, and I eventually limited the amount of people listening so we could still broadcast. We did the show, and then afterwards I put it, I went to my sister's house, and while I'm there, I get like this call from our web host that's like frantic. Like, we think your site has been hacked. There are millions of connections coming in, and it's completely taken down the entire infrastructure of like the server. I was like, no, it's just Halo. So early on in the show, I was making fun of Halo, and I started getting emails defending Halo very specifically. Turns out, people at Bungie were listening to the show, and I became actually good friends through all this with one of the programmers named Greg Snook, who ended up doing a live Halo 2 interview with us on the show. And that was the next really big catapult, as we were the first Google hit for Halo 2 for a significant amount of time. And we started going to lots of industry events like E3, exclusive parties, and that was really our launch into a greater world.
I'm here with my friend Jack Burton.
Nice meeting everybody. I'm Jack Burton, and I'm the ranger to Break's Hunter.
We're at Breakman's house. His computer is quite messy.
And then if you look in there, you see Shadow. That's hard as he works.
Hard at work itself.
Yeah, on iTunes.
Yep.
How's it going, Richie?
It's going just fine. And whose funeral did we come back from just now?
Our own?
You're right. You're the only one that remotely cares about sports games, right, in any way, shape, or form. Just like I'm the only one that cares about racing games in any way, shape, or form.
We're going to tell you the best games ever. Like, this list is so definitive, no one could ever argue with it, so don't even try. No, we used to call these the We're Wrong awards. I looked back actually to make sure that's what we called them. So if that gives you any hint, but We're Wrong Awards 2024, since it's, you know, going over the previous year and before. But basically, we're going over everything, all the systems that we have some sort of an attachment to, that you know, that we've played. Don't necessarily own them all, but some kind of system where we've spent significant time with them and really enjoy the games of them. So, you know, you won't see any MSX. Nothing against the MSX, but you know, we just don't have as strong of an attachment for it. So, oh, and we just lost the MSX portion. Oh no. Well, hopefully they come
What are we
back.
gonna do about the PC-88 though? Come
I know,
on.
right?
Hey, what's up? This is BreakmanX. We're going to be bringing you all the latest news this week in gaming, and hopefully every week we'll be giving you some good updates and letting you come back. I'm a freshman at the University of Kansas. Jack Burton, who you may know from Game Breaker, will be filling in for Richie this week.
Here at the Microsoft party, we're having a lot of fun. Break is still talking to many important people like Kevin Burton.
And I just got back from a Halo tournament at which I took first place in and won $100. I'll be talking about the Halo 2 video and some other nifty things from E3.
Hey, yeah. So I'm going by the name of Maul on here. Kind of a strange coincidence on that. Jedi Weezer goes out, Maul comes in, so I guess we're going to the dark side persuasion on the show now.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
We weren't ready to handle all of these listeners. Got so many listeners out there.
This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the Game Show 2025. The Game Show is a celebration of video games and our collective interests mixed with a healthy dose of humor, while bringing on our favorite people in the game and movie industries as guests, except tonight, because tonight is old school night. But let's get on to some computer action. PC.
Wait. Did we hear Darria?
Oh my God, Darria! Sorry, Darria. I was so excited. I was so excited to read the thing.
What was that experience working with Spielberg like?
He's looking at the screen and he is about to yell something, and Roger stands over him and he punches him like this really hard and says, "Stop laughing. This is a serious sci-fi movie."
You've got the time completely cleared from your schedule. What game would you most like to erase from your memory and then experience again for the first time?
Oh my gosh. Ooh. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. You know what would be great, honestly? I mean, this is a pretty basic answer, but Final Fantasy VII would be really good.
Oh,
I mean,
that would be mine too. That would be mine.
And I felt like I needed something really special for the ending. And it doesn't look that great now. I could do a better job now, but I had this like super tight close-up shot of the DMG screen of the ending of Super Mario Land, which has, I think, one of the greatest pieces of music in all of gaming, the credits of Super Mario. I just love that ending. And I was like, it's going to take a little extra time. I mean, it's not a long game, but I'm like, I'm going to play through this whole game and hope that I then set the system down in the exact right place to get this shot before it's too late. I'm like, but a lot of times, like, I'm like, oh, that's too much effort for that one shot. But that time I felt like I need to do something like really meaningful to me.
Describe a level or experience from a game that sticks in your head to the point where when you think good design, it immediately comes to you.
Ooh, good design. I mean, I don't know if I would call out like a specific level necessarily. But people who watch my YouTube channel are probably sick of hearing me sing his praises, but Ninja Gaiden 3 for the NES is like secretly like got the best level design on. And when that game has a lot of baggage, and for so long, and maybe even still now, people tend to say like, oh, this is the worst Ninja Gaiden. It's just way too hard. And the reality is the Japanese version is actually the easiest Ninja.
But we're going to tell you the best games ever. Like, this list is so definitive, no one could ever argue with it. So don't even try.
It's my favorite game probably of all time. So if anybody knows me well enough to have had that conversation, it has to be Chrono Trigger, which I'm wearing a shirt for today. There we go.
Nice.
No, this was great. This is one that I bought, or had actually bought for me for Christmas. I asked for it for Christmas one year, based on solely the box art, which I didn't realize at the time was drawn by Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball Z fame.
My Sega CD got dropped down the stairs. A friend was, we were moving it upstairs, and he was carrying it, and it dropped, and it literally went kaboom, 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 all the way, and it never worked again.
It was not built like the GameCube, no sir.
It was the GameCube. The GameCube would still be working. The Sega CD was like.
My pick for that arcade time frame between 1990 and 1999 is Smash TV. Midway hit. It's the developer of Robotron was like, hey, what if we did this really cool idea where we made another Robotron? But then they all loved The Running Man, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And what if we made just an entire game based off that with dual joystick controls? And they blew it away. I mean, you get the little RoboCop thing with I'd buy that for $1. The MC, the bosses are huge, ridiculous. The enemies are like just kind of really varied. It's got a great little soundtrack for at least the first level. It's one of my favorite arcade machines. I will go and I will pump at least $5-6 into that thing just to make it through to the end.
The best consoles of all time. We're looking at so many of them. The NES, but the PlayStation had so many amazing, especially JRPGs. And lots of genres, but I just love the JRPGs on that system. But it may come as a surprise which game that I'm picking. You made me feel better about it. No. Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII. I got that game right when it came out. I'd been watching the trailers and everything for it. I loved Final Fantasy 6/3. And watching all the trailers and everything throughout the development cycle and everything I could eat up and watch about it. And then when it finally came out and I got to play it, I was just like so glued to it. I mean, I had like Sephiroth written all over my notebooks, and like I actually got contacts to match Sephiroth's eye color, so I'd have Mako eyes.
I'm on a high after the Switch 2 Direct this morning.
I almost. What's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on May 7th, 2025. How's it going, Jack?
It's going great. Royals are the hottest team in baseball right now. It is awesome over here in KC.
They are hot and Kamehameha-ing all over the place, which is great. That is a weird way of saying that word. And Logan, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good. Got a new controller this week that I've been having fun with, which has been enjoyable. You guys want to
nice. Get?
I got this Google Stadia controller.
Oh man,
one of the all-time greats.
No, I love the ergonomics of it. And
really?
I absolutely love the ergonomics of it. So I've been playing some games on it lately, and
you're not actually playing Stadia though, right? You're playing.
No, I'm playing on Windows. Like, they released a firmware that allows you to convert Stadia controllers over to just regular Bluetooth. And my friend picked one up at a garage sale, and that's when I actually got to try it to verify that I like the ergonomics, because I just didn't even think about them before. And I picked it up and was like, whoa, this feels amazing. So
nice.
Went and got one for myself, and then installed an open source software that like restored full like Rumble functionality and everything. And yeah, it's been fantastic.
That's cool.
Well, there you go. That's right. And Darria, how are you doing this evening?
Pretty good. Had a long work week so far already, but I get to leave early tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Woo. Oh, nice. That's good. And Maul is sick this evening, so we'll be without the dark side of the Force, unfortunately. But it's a great evening here. We're gonna talk about some cool things tonight. But the game show is a celebration of video games and our collective interests mixed with a healthy dose of humor while bringing in our favorite people in the game and movie industries on as guests. So, as always, if you'd like to participate in the show, you can on YouTube there or Facebook. Either way, if you just type in a comment down there, it should bring it into the Discord for us to check out, and Logan will be monitoring that for us tonight. You can also join our Discord there at BreakmanX.com and comment with us that way. I know the vast majority of you don't watch live, and that is fine. You can also comment on our posts or on our videos after, even when we're not live, and we check those too, and you'll get a response that way. And of course, the dreaded phrase, if you like and subscribe, we would be very happy. And in fact, if you subscribe, it'll come across. It will show on the screen as long as your YouTube privacy settings are just, so it will do that. But it'll show there in the middle and play the little do-do-do-do-do. So, we want that to take place. All right, so opening discussion. Let's talk about some sad things first. Polygon and Giant Bomb. I think, Jack, you're probably the biggest Giant Bomb fan, so I'll let you head up on that one.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody's seen the news. We kind of started talking about it a little bit towards the, or at least I started talking about it towards the end of the show last week, but Giant Bomb seems to have some new management in place. And so for those that don't know, Giant Bomb was an independent organization, part of Whiskey Media. Then they were bought by CBS Interactive. Then they were sold off to a firm called Red Ventures, which was an offshoot of CBS. And then, most recently, they were acquired by Fandom, known purveyors of fine AI slop and garbage wikis. They don't know what to do with Giant Bomb. They haven't known what to do with them for a while. There was a management shakeup last week, and since then, apparently, it's been kind of scorched earth. From some people. Dan Reichert hasn't said he's out, but he's basically out. Jeff Grubb is still there, still looking for things. Jan Ochoa is kind of still there. I don't be like all the people, all the awesome people that worked for Giant Bomb and GameSpot. Like, they're all awesome. This is really management just not understanding what they have and really kind of pissing things away more than anything else.
It's really unfortunate. From what I understand from the article I read, the company that bought them used to specialize in porn sites.
Yeah.
And then now they've decided to expand beyond that content and and do some game content, apparently, and diversifying in all sorts of things.
Yeah, their wikis, I don't know if you've seen a Fandom wiki, you probably have, but they're just rotten with ads. They're terrible websites. They don't make any sense. It's
you don't like it,
really,
they probably
really
do it.
Terrible. Yeah, absolutely. And so anyway, so just things kind of came to a head last week, talking about, ultimately what happened on one of their live streams, their Giant Bombcasts they do every week. They were talking about Marvel Rivals and characters' thighs, and apparently that wasn't quote unquote brand safe. And so it got taken down.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, the other side of that too, like I mentioned, or like you mentioned, Polygon.com also, like same day, went through a management change. They were sold off to, I can't remember who they were sold off to, but they were sold off to another company, another media company, and basically just another AI slop purveyor, and they just axed the entire staff of Polygon, one of the better game news sites on the internet today, or at least last week. And so all those folks are looking for jobs too. So, it's tough out there in games media, just in general. There's a lot of independent sites. You've got Nextlander with some of the crew from Giant Bomb. You got Jeff Gersman doing his thing. You've got Kind of Funny Games with Greg Miller and his crew. There's a lot of good independent games. I wouldn't say just BreakmanX.com. Absolutely. But there's a lot of independent sites out there, but there's no real, other than like maybe Video Games Chronicle. Like, there's really not a whole bunch of really dedicated video games news sites out there anymore. And games media is it's really hurting. And, I don't want to get too much into it, but you could kind of make that case for just about all of media in general, print media or just journalism, period.
Yeah, it's a thing. For sure. And I Giant Bomb was such a cool, games, just going back first, GameSpot back in the day was like such an amazing site. I still remember seeing the first Mega Man 8 screenshots on there back in, when it was Video Game Spot back in like 96 or whatever that was, or 95. And then really that peak of late 90s to like 2000, whenever Giant Bomb kind of existed and the whole Canyon Lynch scandal happened. But that was such a cool time, and all I can, like, some of those reviews are like works of art. Like, one of my favorites is Greg Kasavin's review of Metroid Prime. Like, that's such an awesome review of that game, and he's so into, of course, now he's making games. But one of my favorite Penny Arcade comics from that era is they like had trading cards of the different editors there. Like, oh my god, it's Greg Kasavin, I have his rookie card. Like it's such a great like emblem of how cool that time was. And then, you know, going over to Giant Bomb, they had this cool thing. I honestly kind of drifted. I mean, Giant Bomb, I was working at a corporate job before I moved out to LA, and I went to giantbomb.com, and they didn't know what that was. And so I got talked to and asked what that was. But anyway, Giant Bomb was really cool as well. And I kind of stopped following it around the CBS buy. And it's just that form of video game media is just gone now. It just doesn't exist. We have pretty much YouTube kind of to replace it with all the independent sites and all the great stuff that Jack mentioned. But it's just a different world now. And, you know, we were kind of talking about this on the Discord the other day with Blue Gamer. But once you get that kind of content in a really corporate environment, it just tends to not succeed, because eventually the people that did maybe understand it are going to be gone. And at that point, there's just no going back. It's going to be taken down. There's going to be replacement, and then they're going to try to please more people. And then the more people you please, actually, you end up pleasing nobody. So, and like Jack said, it's happened with all media. I mean, everything's clickbait now. Everything is getting like a gazillion hits and trying to compete with the AI stuff and all the bots. So it's unfortunate. I'll definitely miss it. I know Jack met him as well, but one of my favorite E3 memories was meeting Jeff Gerstmann. And I have a really blurry picture of him because Mecha couldn't figure out how to focus my DSLR. So hopefully AI can fix the blur. It's like a super blurry picture of me and Jeff Gerstmann like hanging out. So maybe I'll post that for fun sometime. But yeah, this is sad. But we do have some happy things to talk about. So I wanted to mention on the show, I haven't mentioned him before, but Malachi Lewis has been making some really cool reels for us. I've been making some of the reels, but most of the ones that you just saw were made by Malachi. And the two that were this week were also made by Malachi. I just wanted to give him a shout out for all the work he's been doing.
Awesome work.
Yeah, he's really become an awesome editor. And I know he wants to focus on editing. So if anyone needs anything edited, you should hit him up, because he would definitely enjoy probably taking some work. And Jess Seidel is joining the BreakmanX crew. She's going to be running our social media here coming up next week, probably. So that should improve drastically. So that'll be exciting. And then we'll have something else.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
Okay. Well, Jess is awesome at it. I'm just going to say she's run it for my movie, Eyes Open. She's done it for my, the film festival, Wi-Fi Film Festival. She's really, really good at it. She's also pursuing her MFA at USC School of Cinematic Arts, and she's been focusing on some podcast stuff in her podcast class this last semester. So, welcome to the party, Jess. I'm excited to have her on here for sure. So, and then we'll have something else we haven't done for 21 years that the rest of the crew knows about. We were talking about in the host only earlier today.
Okay.
Something that Jess will probably have a master plan on how to unveil strategically. But so look out for something that we haven't done for 21 years. Think about maybe something we haven't done for 21 years. We'll see.
Wonder what that could be.
Wonder what it could be. All right, so let's get into our main topic of the evening, which is most meaningful games. And we will be getting back into hosts or some guest hosts here pretty soon. We kind of like to switch it up between back and forth. But meaningful games. So meaningful games for me are not necessarily our favorite games, but they could be. But they're games that hold tight with some really special memories, and they really grab a hold of you and bring back a time in your life that maybe was pretty wonderful. You have a lot of associations with it and things like that. So I tried to pick at least most of the games here that I haven't talked about as much. I mean, I could put Final Fantasy VII on here. I could put some of the other games I've talked to on there, but I tried to mix it up a little bit. Now, the first one I have talked about a little bit before, but it's hard for me to not mention with meaningful games because Super Mario Brothers was my introduction to video. I mean, I'd played Atari, but Super Mario Brothers was my diving in point to video games, and I have so many memories of playing that game over and over again. One of the stories my sister likes to tell of my obsession with video games is the first Christmas that she visited, because actually she was a freshman in college. She was visiting for Christmas. Her best friend, they were staying in her room, which is next to the video game room, unfortunately. And she always talks about how, like, at 4:35 in the morning, the Mario Brothers music is like blasting, and her friend's like, "What the hell is that?" Oh, that's just Matt playing video games. So, it's really symbolic of my obsession with games. It's such an awesome game, even still. And just, I have so many. I mean, I remember my brother was so proud when he beat it that he took pictures of it, took with a camera. Because it took us forever.
He was just trying to get in Nintendo Power, right?
Exactly,
the
right?
High score.
Yeah. Maybe actually, I think that might have been it, because we did have Nintendo Power. But just, it brings back a time, like that early time in video games where it just seemed like, even though it was 8-bit graphics, like anything was possible, and things were just advancing so fast, and new things all the time, and it was just such an exciting time, that mid to late 80s and early 90s, and even throughout a lot of the 90s. So I can't not mention Super Mario Brothers in this list, but I think of the games, that is pretty much the only one that I've talked about at length. So yeah, so that's my first one.
I mean, Break, I have to imagine that's probably the same for, a number of gamers our age, maybe even a little bit younger too. I mean, that is a game that really, I mean, it's what made the NES work and brought video games back from the dead over here in the States.
Absolutely. Yeah, I talk about that in my classes a lot. Every one of my students has definitely had knows who Shigeru Miyamoto is.
Yeah.
Darria, you were saying something.
I was going to say, I first played it on the Game Boy Advance, and it was a cartridge that my sister had that we would fight over all the time. So
it was a cool version of it. I remember being able to play it on the go, and that was amazing. Being able to play it like that. And Logan, I think you were saying something too there for a second.
Yeah. Well, I can say it's still an iconic game today. Not as many people have probably played it, although there are plenty of ways to play it. So if you haven't, you should try it. But the music is just burned in everyone's brains, and the iconography of the game, it's stuck.
I mean, just before we move on, really quick, you think about, so Jack mentioned it briefly, but the video game market in the United States had completely crashed on the year of my birth, 1983. So, and it was literally making no money. And so Nintendo sees this opportunity to come into the United States and try to resurrect basically a market where there's no competition. Retailers wouldn't take video game systems, they rejected them. They had to basically offer stores in New York free NES consoles to get it to go. And kind of a funny aside, Minoru Arakawa, who is the president of Nintendo of America, when he married Hiroshi Yamauchi, who is the president of Nintendo of Japan's daughter, the one stipulation she had when she married him was that he would not work for her dad. And then the opportunity to run Nintendo in America came around. So he just said that he was a really scary guy. So then when they gave the consoles for free to these stores, he didn't tell Yamauchi that. He did all these, there were some interesting things. And so they need to have games to break in the industry. They have Super Mario Brothers, primary amazing game, amazing gameplay for the amazing graphics of the time, timeless music, and then they're okay, Legend of Zelda, how do you like that? Same thing. Metroid, it just hit after hit after hit. I mean, they basically made some of the greatest series of all time, just one after the other, and then the games got better. You have well, I'm not going to talk about how they got better because Jack has one of these on his list. But anyway, amazing time.
Well, just a small rabbit hole too, just expanding upon that a little bit. Atari had the Atari 7800 built, done, ready to ship in 1983, and they held it for 4 years because the market crashed. And when they released it, I mean, I don't know if anybody's played a 7800 game, but it's not a Nintendo. It is not an NES. It is
not
terrible. It should never have been released in the first place.
Yeah,
at least not when it was, anyway.
I think I saw one game that might be kind of good, but I've never played one though. I've never played one. Maybe not. No, okay. No games are good. But yeah, the NES was just like mind blowing. I mean, it was the first video game system of the era in which video. I mean, you had the Atari 2600, which had mass market success, but you had the NES that literally showed, I think, the preview of what games could be. You had the beginnings of story. You had the beginnings of amazing music. You had Miyamoto was the first designer. Before you had engineers that were doing everything. They were doing music, design. Miyamoto came in and he did solely design. So kind of set everything up for what we eventually got. But we should go back and let's talk about Jack's favorite game of all time.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to one of the games that caused the crash.
Yeah, there we go.
So I hate to admit it, and it's kind of showing my age a little bit, but E.T., the extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600. It is a reviled game by a lot of people. It is famously. They thought that game was going to be such a hit. They made so many copies of that. They made more copies than they actually sold Atari 2600s. And had to famously bury them in a garbage dump in Arizona, I believe. It's either Arizona or New Mexico.
Dang.
Yeah, one of the two. Maybe both. There were so many.
Yeah. Well, like that game is notorious for many different reasons, but it also has the distinction of being one of the first games that had a narrative that I played, and so. It really has a place in my heart because you walk around as E.T., you try to find Elliot, you eat M&Ms, you eat Reese's Pieces, and you try to avoid the FBI guys, and then you fall down pits. You fall down every single pit in the game, and it is so infuriating. I could probably speed run that game in maybe like 15 minutes, maybe not, maybe less than that now, but oh my god, it is a terrible game. But for whatever reason, I loved E.T. and I mean the movie is fantastic, but I thought I was trying to ascribe meaning and more to that game than there actually was, and me being a 3-4 year old kid trying to play a video game, like E.T. was the one I kept coming back to for God knows what reason, but it will always stick in my brain forever and ever. And if you show me a screenshot of E.T. in that goddamn hole, I will just lose it just about every time.
That's so cool. It's nice to hear a positive story about that game because you hear, you hear so much negative about it, but that is how games were about. Even some of the NES games, or a lot of the NES games, were so much about expanding your imagination because even like the first Legend of Zelda, like that game was so much more to me than was actually on the screen. That's so cool. I play the clip of someone long playing E.T. in my video game class, and I just I watch their eyes be like,
oh, yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, what's the goal in this game? Do you guys think? Like, what are you supposed to do? and then we show like Super Mario Brothers how it like shows you how to play. So, but anyway, it is cool. And the guy that made it, I've seen some interviews because literally it was one guy, and they gave him like a few weeks. It's not his fault that it's bad.
It's not.
No, he literally got no time. I mean, he got no time, and he just had to like quickly get it out, and for the time he had, it's probably pretty good for the limited amount of time he had. So
I mean, considering that and what the standard for on that platform was at the time, I mean, it's a miracle that it came out the way it did. But it's not surprising that it's not the best game on the Atari 2600, but it could have been a whole hell of a lot worse. And so
what game on the Atari 2600 the young folks like? Kaboom.
Kaboom's great.
When I have them play Atari, like I've had students stay after class because they want to keep playing Kaboom.
Kaboom is awesome. The Mad Bomber cannot be stopped.
Yes. So very, very cool. All right, Logan, what's your first memorable game?
So, first memorable game for me is Minecraft, which by far the most played game ever, and I've talked about it before for me. But specifically, Minecraft Lite holds a special place in my heart, which, if you haven't heard about Minecraft Lite before, was the free version of Minecraft Pocket Edition back on smartphones like, oh gosh, last time I played it was probably 10 plus years ago. And man, it's so different compared to the game now, like very limited. If you've ever played Minecraft beta, it's very it resembles beta a lot. But the thing that makes it special to me was that my brother and I would just play on the same world on our mom's phone. Like, this was before, I didn't have any consoles growing up or anything, so we just played on our mom's phone occasionally. And we had to be really careful because Minecraft Lite, if you restarted the app, would wipe the world. You couldn't save your world, so we had to be careful to not restart the app and keep it up. And we would trade off on the phone sometimes and just keep on building this world until the phone restarted or whatever. Even got into messing with glitches and stuff. We found a way to glitch the game and create a clone of the character that we could push around to populate the world with NPCs and stuff. So it's just kind of a fun game to mess around with my brother and just build and have fun in a weird, janky way.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm jealous. I always wish that I liked Minecraft. Similar to how I've mentioned this over Pokemon. I have set up Minecraft servers for my kids and things so they could play, unique situations and you could do mods and all that kind of stuff. And I had fun doing that.
Oh yeah, I love working on the servers.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I same with I world games. And again, it's not that they're bad. It's definitely not that they're bad. It's definitely a me thing. But I want to be and I know that open worlds direct you, but I really like the idea of going through a game kind of in a guided fashion. I like linearity probably more than maybe most people do. And I kind of wish that I didn't. I kind of wish that I could enjoy any type of game. But I've tried so many open world games throughout the years and so many open-ended type games that I've just realized that the games that I like, and it's weird that I like Zelda because it's the first open-ended game, but I for some reason like Zelda. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm jealous of you. I wish I could enjoy Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I understand where you're coming from because these days I play a lot less Minecraft than I did, although I still do. I still have a Minecraft server running out of a PC in my basement that I hop on every once in a while. But with how much I've been getting into filmmaking and how creativity has become my professional life, creativity isn't as just doing it all the time in Minecraft while I'm also doing it in the rest of my life too isn't as satisfying for me anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
So playing some other games that are more linear or different kinds of experiences has become more appealing to me as of late.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have, because it is you can run out of motivation to be creative, and
yeah.
So
and
yeah,
other games have great experiences too. I am a big fan of racing games, which is totally different from Minecraft sandbox style games because I just love the energy and the rush of racing, and that kind of a thing. But yeah, I still love Minecraft. I'll get the 2-week Minecraft stint like I did when we started the recent server. That time we were running mods, so I went and caught a lightning dragon, which was a fun new experience. Hadn't done in Minecraft before.
Nice.
Which that's a great thing about it. You can keep modding it to high heaven and do whatever you want. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say on Minecraft Lite.
Catch us up on the chat.
Yeah.
Tell us about the people.
So, starting with Maximus Prime, Kingdom Hearts has the most nostalgia to me and might be my first RPG. I've been wanting to try Kingdom Hearts. That's one I haven't played before.
I need to find some clips of the old show because Shadow loved Kingdom Hearts and talked about it all the time. In fact, I think the first on-air review ever was his review of Kingdom Hearts. And then he promised at some point that he would sing the theme song.
He was gonna sing "Simple and Clean" at some point, wasn't he?
He was, and there was something that had to happen, and it happened when he was no longer on the show. but he called in for one of the anniversaries, and I was like, it's time, and he did it over the phone.
Nice.
So I need to find that clip. Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts is the game that I read about and thought, wow, that's not going to work, and boy was I wrong, because it worked. Because it's like Disney and Final Fantasy. I don't know about that. I was also like not at all a Disney fan at the time. I was when I was little, and then I am again now. But like at the time, I like was not at all interested in Disney. So it was like, why? But it was really good. So yeah, obviously it's great. And the story is very simple and clean.
Is it?
No, it's not at all. But great song. Great song. What else? What else you got for us, Logan?
Another couple from Maximus Prime. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do in the ET game, but even bad games to most can be enjoyable to some, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then Grease Monkey says, E.T. riding on that bike reminds me of Chicken Jockey. Nice.
No! No, it's fine. It's fine.
And then Storm Eagle, maybe the first and only time I ever heard anyone say something nice about E.T. What timeline do we live in?
I love it. It makes me happy.
Yeah, see, somebody out there enjoying E.T. That makes it worth it.
It's not just somebody, it's Jack Burton.
Yeah. Everybody's got their one.
Yep. Oh, I like tons of bad games.
Grease
And
Monkey
bad
says, Grease Monkey says, yes, Logan, Minecraft for life. Minecraft will always be special to me. And then Maximus Prime. I couldn't get into Minecraft either, but I loved Subnautica. Subnautica is another one of my favorite games. I love the immersion and just the unique underwater experience. That's not something you get from a lot of other games.
Mm-mm.
And then last one from Maximus Prime. Open world games are fun to me, but sometimes it can be too big for me to enjoy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get overwhelmed. Yeah. I'm just like I want to play a game and I want to know that the experience I'm doing is like the experience that was crafted. When I get a Switch 2, whenever I do get a Switch 2, I'll be Daria's on the case. Darria, by the way, is a Darria is a master of finding consoles. She found my PS5. And there was
and
one
your Xbox.
And my Xbox. Like she's like, get here. And so like she's been really good at that. So she's on the Switch 2 case for me. So with our heads together, it's gonna be happening. So Daria's got amazing skill with that. So I think it's good. But anyway, I'm gonna, and before we need to get to Daria's pick here, but I'm gonna retry Breath of the Wild when I get the Switch 2, because I did like what I was playing, and that game was designed like as a 8-bit Zelda first, and that's so intriguing to me. And I wish they would release that version, but they won't. But I am gonna try Breath of the Wild again, and completely fresh. I'm gonna not use my old save file or anything. I'm just gonna dive in, and I hope with the navigation system that I can actually figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. So
yep,
we'll see. But all right, Darria, you're up.
So, for me, one of the biggest Star Wars games that I'd played was Jedi Fallen Order, and at that point in time when I was playing this on the Xbox, and when I was playing that game, there was just a lot of things that I was like just going through at that point, and like a lot of the different quotes that the other characters were saying to Cal were like exactly the things that I needed to hear. And so I was like super obsessed with getting the next game when it came out. And I loved the experience of the end of Jedi Fallen Order. It was not spoiled for me, so I got to fully experience that. Thanks. In Jedi Survivor, there's a moment that I was like, it was probably one of my favorite moments within a game. just because how like surprising and transportive it kind of was. Don't mind them in the background.
They're having fun.
It's just part of the show. It's just part of the show.
But and I don't know. I love the story that they take with that, and like including like different planets that you can explore. Especially Dathomir. I think including Dathomir is really fascinating. And I don't know. Even in Jedi Survivor, there are things that like little things that like as I'm playing through the game, like the quotes and stuff like that. Like I actually save the quotes from each of these games. But they're always like things that I need to hear, or just need reminders of, and so that's why like they're a little special to me.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love when video games can do that. Like, very cool. And go ahead, Jack.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, it's really cool just seeing, that game, like what Respawn's done, like they really took something that could have been really just retrudging a lot of the things that some of the other series have gone through, like Star Wars Rebels or anything like that, and just kind of retread it. But like they really put some heart into it, and like Cal Kestis is a fun, fun-ish character to play as, and he's got a really interesting backstory that kind of links into the larger, Star Wars expanded universe, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I love the designs for the different like creatures and things like that. Like, I think one of the things that I really liked about Fallen Order too, was that like you got to explore these like ancient Force things. Like I like exploring like those kinds of things in games. So that's another reason I think why it also like stuck with me.
That's what 789 was supposed to be.
Man.
The original outline. But awesome. Well, I still need to play that. I haven't played that yet. It's open world. So
yeah, it's like an open world Star Wars Dark Souls.
There are some linear sections to it, though.
Yeah,
it's more linear than most open world.
I need to give it a try. Another try.
It's more like designated sections that you have the ability to like explore, get all the chests for.
I just need to be more. I'm going to try to be more open minded. I'm not gonna.
But
I'm just gonna jump in.
It does guide you. Like you there are things like there's a choice early on in Fallen Order that you can decide to like jump to the harder thing first. But you can also just choose to go like where the game kind of guides you.
I think I fell into that. There was like a boss at the beginning that I didn't have to fight, but like I thought I had to, and then I fought it for like hours, and I don't think I beat it yet.
Well, my thing is like I have trouble with even though I don't like the open world games, I have trouble not doing everything. Because I think it's from growing up playing Final Fantasy games. Because like in Final Fantasy games, like at least the older ones, like you needed to make sure you had certain things or you were screwed. Like you would just not be able to progress. And then sometimes you wouldn't even be able to go back and get it. So you'd be like totally hosed. So I think that like mindset of like making sure you have the wigga to do the whatever later on has trained me to like, oh, I got to do that and that and that and that and that. And I know that that's not really the case in modern games so much. But I just have that tendency.
So a lot of the chests like contain cosmetics for you to unlock.
Okay. See, I don't care about the cosmetics. I can deal. I can deal with
that. Or customizing your lightsaber.
Getting a really cool color scheme for BD1 is awesome.
Yes. Or your ship.
Yeah.
And then some of the like
lightsaber.
It gets even better in Jedi Survivor. Like it's fantastic. I would customize it, take a photo of it, and then do all like I would save so many iterations of my lightsaber.
It's like full on like if you were to go to not Magic Kingdom, sorry, the Star
Galaxy's
Wars
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, you just go in and like build your own lightsaber, like the exact same pieces and stuff. It's great.
That's pretty rad. I saw that. We went to Disneyland years ago. I have the Terragate got me the really, BreakmanX got me the really nice like Anakin one several years ago. The like really hot. It's like before Disney. Or wait, it was Disney was existing, but it's like the really
Force
really,
Effects one.
I think so. It's the really nice one, and it's I love it. Like, and it's super bright. Like, it's really freaking bright. Like, if you take a video of it, it looks like a lightsaber because it's so bright. It like overwhelms the like if it's a phone camera.
That reminds me. I gotta go grab something.
Oh, I do too.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I do too. Hang on 1 second.
I've unlocked something.
This one, I've got one that's very inspired by Fallen Order. It's not exactly the same.
I'm gonna say that looks very similar to Cal's lightsaber.
It's awesome.
No, I've got a very durable blade for it too, so I fought people with it.
I wasn't kidding.
That's great. I love it. Well, when I cut away to someone, maybe I'll go grab mine.
Yes.
Yeah. So Cal Kestis' lightsaber.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that's awesome.
That's really accurate. Wow.
Yeah, I got it from Galaxy's
cool.
Edge.
Destroying
it is so cool. I know. Yeah, it doesn't. My feed doesn't like it, but hey,
I did not
that's so
get mine
cool.
from
I love
Galaxy's
it.
Edge.
I love the Star Wars love.
But yeah, I saw it. I was not planning on getting one, and I walked into the store, and they're like, "Well, we've got all these." And I was like, okay. Like, it'd be cool to have Ahsoka's twin lightsabers.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw the Cal Kestis one. I was like, how much? And next thing I knew, I was explaining why I had to spend $250 on a lightsaber. I was like, hey, the kids got stuff. This is the one thing I want. Okay.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm done nerding out.
No, it's
just got
more or less.
It's kind of like the whole show is.
Okay,
that's all we do.
cool.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So we Star Wars for a while. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Final Fantasy VIII. So Final Fantasy VIII. So obviously with Final Fantasy, I was like, I loved Final Fantasy VII. Like, Final Fantasy VII is still my favorite game of all time. Will always probably be my favorite game of all time. But anyway, so Final Fantasy VIII. You know, I'm like waiting for Final Fantasy VIII. I'm super excited for Final Fantasy VIII. And then I end up getting it like around launch. And honestly, playing it, I was kind of like not really into it as much as Final Fantasy VII. The draw system is still just not my favorite. I have a line in my movie about the draw system. That's how much I don't like the draw system. And when I was replaying it, you know, several months ago when Logan on the stream, I used like a Game Shark so I wouldn't have to draw because I think that's so dumb. I hate the draw system. So, but I do love the music in it is like amazing. But the real reason that it is special to me really has little to do with the game and more to what was going on during that time. But Final Fantasy VIII was the game I was playing when my wife and I first started dating. And that's part of the reason I haven't beaten it because like I was playing the game. I was actually playing the game when she called to like invite me over, and we'd all been kind of hanging out like as friends, like a whole group of people. And so I was like playing Final Fantasy VIII and talking to her on the phone. And she was inviting me over, and so I was like, all right, I guess we're going over to her house now. And then I get back on the phone. She's like, no, just you. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was pretty excited about that. And then Final Fantasy VIII kind of faded into the background because of, you know, situations at the time. But I'll always remember Final Fantasy VIII, and especially Balam Garden's music, because that was what was playing when the phone rang. And I am going to beat Final Fantasy VIII. Logan and I got really far in it lately, and I've been playing it a little bit more. I am going to finally beat it after, 25 years, 25 and a half years. So I will actually, beat it. But so it's a game that I haven't even beaten, but just reminds me of like an amazing time in my life. So
if we had the time, we could do some more streams of that.
Yeah, maybe in the summer.
Better late than never, man.
Yeah. Now that I want, right. Now that I'm not gonna be, day jobbing here for a while, I can maybe do some streaming. That'll be fun. Awesome. So yeah, that's Final Fantasy VIII. And it does really have an awesome soundtrack. And actually playing it this time and not having the weight of expecting it to be Final Fantasy VII too, I'm enjoying it more. Like, it's not my favorite of the Final Fantasies, but it's enjoyable, and I'm glad that I'm playing it. So, and the music is just phenomenal. It's some of the best music I think of the series. There's some really good stuff there. So.
That's high praise.
Yes, it's good. It's good. You don't like the music?
I thought it was fine. Like the main battle theme, like it's fine. It's good. Like the main battle theme, like I'll take Final Fantasy 7, 6, or 4 over that one.
Oh, I will too.
It's good.
It's not. I mean, there's so many Final Fantasies, but I would put it in like the top 5 music-wise.
And
it's Q's favorite.
And I am speaking as somebody that did not beat that game either. So I haven't heard all the music.
How far did you get? Like what disc?
I got to somewhere in the middle of disc 2.
That's where I am right now.
I kind of just quit. I was just like, okay, I get it. Is he dreaming or not? Whatever. And it's just like, I'm done with this.
Stay in your dream. I'm done.
Dream on.
Awesome.
I had other games to play.
Yeah, that was a good period for games. So that's another thing too. I moved on to another game fairly quickly that I'll maybe get to on the list depending on how time goes. But Jack, your turn. I'm gonna go grab my lightsaber.
Do it. So my next game is Super Mario Brothers 3. So as Break mentioned, the NES was huge. I actually didn't own an NES at the time. I got an NES very late, probably, and after I got out of college is when I first got my own NES. And so my experience with the NES was always playing it either at friends' houses or relatives' houses. Mm-hmm. And I've got a really emotional connection to Super Mario Brothers 3. When it first came out, I was actually on spring break. We were visiting my cousins on my dad's side. We were staying at their house for the week, just hanging out and just basically, just hanging out with cousins and just giving my parents a break for spring break. But it was unseasonably hot that entire week, and it was raining for half the week too. So one morning, like the maybe second day we were out there, cousin Jay, we go all the way out to we walked over to this nearby grocery store that had obviously video game rentals there, and we picked up Super Mario Brothers 3, and we're like, this is awesome. We're going to get to play this thing. It just came out. Everybody else is still at school. We're just on spring break, so let's do this. And literally from that moment on for the rest of the trip, me and Jay sat in that basement and just tried to play through Super Mario Brothers 3. And I was, that was 90, so I was 8 years old at the time, and
Perfect
he was 8. Yeah. So we had our, dexterity. We were good to go, but we could not, for the life of us, make it past World 4. We just Giant World, for whatever reason, was our downfall. So we get there, and the first time we got there, it was like, oh my god, everything's huge. But like,
it's so cool.
I mean, it like what I really like about Super Mario Brothers 3 is just how they keep introducing new things, and they keep it varied. Like even by the time you get to World 8. Like there's something new almost in every level, and it just keeps like you think that's kind of it, and they're just going to start just shoving new stuff, or not shoving new stuff, but kind of mixing things up and just showing you what you've already seen before. And they really don't get to that. Maybe you could make a case at the end of World 7, they kind of do that a little bit, but like it really just, for a platformer,
it's so feature rich and it's so like I really have a hard time picking between it and Super Mario World, but just for nostalgia purposes and for what that game meant to me and my cousin, trying to just slam through it in a week and not even getting halfway there was really, really fun. And you know, like I think 6 months later I beat the dang thing after playing it at my friend's house where we just switched off after like alternating levels. But like I called him up like as soon as that we were done. My mom's like, "Why are you calling somebody long distance? I gotta tell Jay I beat this game." And like she's like, "Is it the one you were playing back when we were at his house?" I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "Okay, go ahead."
So cool.
So it was really, really cool, and it's just one of those kind of like formative game memories for me. And like Super Mario 3 will always kind of have a place in my heart for that.
Awesome. I love hearing that story. I have a Final Fantasy. So it's in my mind. A Super Mario Brothers 3 story. Too. So Super Mario Brothers 3, we rented like right when it came out. We got, and it was like around my sister's graduation from high school, and there was a terrible storm outside. There was like a tornado coming, and like so we're all in the basement, like, and I of course, you know, start playing Super Mario Brothers 3, and I was like really hoping that the storm would like be bad enough that we couldn't go to the graduation, but like it wouldn't hurt, like it wouldn't hurt anybody either or destroy any property. And you know, unfortunately we did have to go there. I mean, fortunately, now that I'm mature looking back, like I'm happy I went, but
those are memories you can never get back.
Right. The but and then I did finally, I got the game for Easter. I remember, was that like first grade, I think.
Nice.
And I just played that thing. I mean, that game just was, we were all playing, the whole neighborhood was playing that game and like trying to figure out how to beat things and like going over to each other's houses. I mean, it was like the 80s, like personified. Well, it was the 90s, but it was that 80s, early 90s period where like, you know, there wasn't any social media or like phones or anything. So we're all just, or the internet. So we're just all going over to each other's houses and like trying to figure out the secrets and everything.
The wizard did its job, man. We all wanted Super Mario Brothers 3.
It did, and I didn't want to take away from your story at all, so I was waiting. But oh, and the stupid camera.
Oh no!
No!
That is awesome.
But it's actually metal.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, which is cool. But
and
it's a little bit dimmer right now. I need to change the batteries because these batteries have been there for a while. But like if the batteries are fresh, like it gets so bright that it looks like it's like actually a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And now it's
awesome.
like floating in the ether.
Is it a particular like replica or is it a custom built one?
It's a particular replica. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it was like the really, really nice Anakin one at the time.
Okay.
That's the one I wanted, was the
here, so
Anakin one. Because it's also Luke's, you know, until his hand goes bye-bye.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3. Logan and Darria, have you played Super Mario Brothers 3, or do we need to kick off the show? Or
I haven't.
I have not.
I'm just kidding. Super Mario Brothers 3 is my favorite Mario game. I used to kind of go back and forth between that and World. But after playing it again and playing the NES version, even over the SNES version, Super Mario World is an awesome game. Amazing platformer. But Super Mario Brothers 3 is special. Like there's something about that game, and maybe it's the nostalgia, I don't know. But there is something about that game that is just beyond amazing. I mean, you can turn that game on now and play it, and it's like so much fun. I mean, Tara and I will do that. We'll just like turn it on and get to like World 3 or something. Because it's like therapeutic to go through those first few levels. So Logan and Darria, at some point, you should play Super Mario Bros. 3. And I'll play Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, you need to.
Because it's a game that must be played. All right, Logan, what's your next one?
Yeah, so my next one's gonna have to be Portal 1. And I guess it's not necessarily tied to a particular moment in my life is why it's meaningful for me, although I did thoroughly enjoy playing it. I loved the mind-bending kind of physics gameplay, trying to move things around, thinking where you need to position your portals, and then GLaDOS, just an incredible villain with amazing voice acting and music. But I think the thing that's most meaningful about it to me is really its humble beginnings, where it started as like a student project called Narbacular Drop at a school called DigiPen. Just like a group of a few students made it as their school project. And it used very similar mechanics back as Narbacular Drop, like a completely different story, completely different graphical style, but it used a portal mechanic. And Valve was like going around looking at the student projects at this school and saw theirs, really liked the concept, and just hired the team to go make Portal. So I really like that connection to being an indie student project and showing that they were able to create something really innovative and take it somewhere to become this really successful game, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, Portal is so good. I mean, it's so good in so many different ways. The immersive nature of how you start the game, kind of thinking it's like any other game, and then you kind of, break it when you escape and everything, but it's all a part of everything. And I don't know if we should spoil it or not. I mean, it's been out for like forever, but the cake is a lie.
It's like what, 15 years old at this point?
And yeah, and that song at the end, I still listen to that like pretty frequently. I love that song. I'm Still Alive. If you haven't heard it, y'all, Still Alive from Portal, you definitely need. And if you actually play the game, it's much funnier.
Yes.
But such a, and I remember back on the show, this was a long time ago, but one of us was talking about how it was the first game to be added to many colleges' curriculum for like Western civilization classes, which is also really cool. But such a great mechanic. I still wear my Penny Arcade Portal shirt where Gabe's at the top of the slide and he has a portal at the top of the slide and the bottom, so he's forever sliding while the kids watch and cry. So yeah, great choice, Logan. Great choice.
It's such a fun game. It's so subversive. It really takes some turns, and it has a really clever. The writing is clever in it, and it just goes places you don't expect.
Yeah, and Portal 2 is also an incredible sequel. Like, they knocked out of the park with that one as well. In every regard, expanding on the gameplay with new mechanics, expanding on level design, story, like just all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome pick. All right, Darria, what's up next for you?
So I would have to say the Namco Museum Megamix for Wii. And I'd actually forgotten about this game until my dad had asked me about it. And I was like, I could not find the actual disc. I couldn't in any of our Wii games. Because the one that he specifically remembered was the Pac-Man Galaga remix one. He's just like shooting at all of the, pointing at the screen, shooting all of the little spaceships and everything. And so I figured out what it was, ordered it, and now I've been playing it for a little bit. But I just thought it was like super funny that my dad was the one who remembered it, and remembered playing it with us. I really don't know where the disc went, but that's why I kind of wanted to list this one. But I completed all the worlds and everything.
Oh man,
that's cool.
Dedication.
But now I just need to go through and do it, like get all the bonuses and everything. So
yeah.
But and then we did play some of the other like remix games. But I don't remember those quite as well as the Galaga one.
I mean, that's kind of the one, that and Pac-Man are the ones you go there for, right?
Mm-hmm. Because Pac-Man is the one that going through all the museum, or like the little.
Let's see. I'm trying to look to see what was on there.
Yeah,
the one on Wii.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a gapless remake or a Grobda. It was Grobda.
You said it was the Mega Mix, right?
Yeah.
And there was a Rally X remix, which yeah, it's Rally X.
There was
I'm kind of disappointed by the selection that's on there. I mean,
the Pack and Roll one was the one that, and I think we did a lot of
Pac-Man, Galaga, Rally X, Galaxian, Dig
because
Dug, Mappy,
because I
Xevious,
loved this
Super
game
Pac-Man,
when I was
Pac-Mania,
younger.
and Bosconian.
But because I loved this game when I was younger, like in person, at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
The Gator Panic remix.
Yeah.
I love playing that one.
Gator Panic's great.
That one's fun, especially on the Wii. So I think that's just another fun little game as part of that whole collection.
Yep. Nah, it's like I said. The only thing I wish it had on it was Rolling Thunder, but I'm kind of a Rolling Thunder sicko, so yeah.
Well, cool. I love it's fun how several of these have tied into family. You know, I wasn't necessarily I mean, it could have been, but it wasn't like the directive, and like all of us have pretty much touched on that. So pretty interesting. All right. Logan, you did the chat, didn't you?
No, I'm about to hit it up next.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
First we've got Storm Eagle. It says, great streaming Final Fantasy VIII. We need this. Well, we've kind of already done it.
Yeah, we did it on
if you go over to
go ahead.
Eyes
you
Open,
get it.
Eyes Open YouTube channel or Twitch stream. We have some previous streams from Final Fantasy VIII, and then we kind of stopped doing that to do this and revive the game show. But yeah, we should do some more Final Fantasy VIII streams.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah. And then Storm Eagle also says, I've beaten Final Fantasy VIII a few times, replaying it on the Xbox One since beating Final Fantasy IX again, which that's interesting. I guess correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, because I think you know more about this, but isn't the Final Fantasy VIII port on Xbox, they basically had to decompile it or something?
Yeah, because they lost the source code. And it's real. I mean, I'm really picky about old games, probably more than I should be in ways that don't even really matter, to be honest with you. But the backgrounds are really blurry because and they redid the character models, and kind of like with the Final Fantasy X remaster, they look different. They're different models. So to me, the character models look different enough that I would much rather, even though the originals are super not detailed and everything, I prefer the original, and also the backgrounds, which are glorious, are super sharp on the original version. I like, especially if you're trying to just beat a game and see the story. I do like how those remasters have all those things to speed up the game. You can run faster, you can speed up battles, and kind of overpower yourself too. And so kind of what we were doing on the stream with Final Fantasy VIII was similar in that I used a Game Shark on the PS1 to make sure we could never die. Because how trying to get through the story of that game, how anticlimactic would that be? And it's actually one of the easier Final Fantasies, so I don't think I would maybe have needed to do it, but yeah, play it.
Yeah. And then Firebrand X says, I enjoyed Final Fantasy VIII, but for some reason I just didn't like 9. I played all the way through it, hoping that the feeling would pass, but it didn't. Then Final Fantasy X came out, and I loved it. Maxed out of remapping Sphere Grid using the Monster Arena. I got so powerful, I could one-shot the final boss. That's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome. Well,
that's some dedication.
Firebrand X, by the way, he helped a lot with the RetroTink 4K and making a lot of the profiles that are on there. So, and
nice.
Also the NES palettes for the NES RGB, and kind of a retro celebrity.
Thank you, good sir.
On the parts, yeah.
All right, and then next one from Storm Eagle. Super Mario Bros. 3 is goated, and World 4 Giant World is my all-time favorite.
Mine too, actually.
It's pretty great.
Nice.
Pretty great.
And then last one from chat for now. Also from Storm Eagle. Portal is a great game. The cake is a lie. It will live on forever. Yes, it will. Everyone will know.
triumph. It's like almost Elmo, but not quite.
Creepy Elmo.
Creepy. With like some processing.
Processed.
Little Phantom Menace. Okay. So Darria, you just did yours, right? I don't want to skip you again. Yeah, you did remix or mega mix.
Yes.
Okay, so back to mine. So a game I definitely haven't talked on here, I think, at least not at length. Double Dragon NES. And the reason that this one, I know people like the arcade or the Master System version better usually, but the reason that this one is memorable to me is because back before we owned an NES, we used to rent it because the grocery store had NESs that you could rent, and so year or long, it seemed like forever, but probably like a year or so, we would occasionally rent the NES for a weekend or so. And Double Dragon, they didn't have many games, and Double Dragon was that, and like Super Mario Brothers tended to be the games that we rented. And Double Dragon was kind of one of the other first NES games I played, and just being that it had like the variety and was so different from Super Mario Brothers. It just had so many lasting memories to me, and the music. I've always loved the music for Double Dragon, and I think it's still really great. Again, Vomitron. If any of you guys have heard Vomitron, he does. I think it's one guy, and he does a really awesome kind of metalized. It's already metal anyway. Metalized version of Double Dragon that just sounds glorious. Of every song in the game. But Double Dragon, and I just remember us trying to beat it over and over again, and we would always get stuck at that forest level where you have to jump over the stupid bridge.
The bridge is the worst. The bridge is just the worst.
And he would like die, and he'd be like whenever he'd die, he'd do this and like seize up and fall into the water. It was so freaking frustrating because we always knew we'd get to that part and like wouldn't be able to beat it, and it wasn't really until we actually bought the game and had an NES that then we could get to like that last level where it's like kind of a maze where you had to go into like the right doors and things like that. And that one then got us stuck, and it took us quite a while then even to get to the end of that. And there was like the weird 2-player versus mode that was like, not great, but just really cool.
Proto fighting game.
Proto fight, yeah, just cool that it was in there. And I would even like play it with the computer and just like run around because I thought it was cool that the sprites were big. But yeah, I just have so many memories of playing that game over and over again. And that glitch in the first level where you go up the thing, and we found a lot of glitches in that, but and it was one player, but we would switch back and forth kind of if he died or on a level or something. So yeah, Double Dragon will always be special to me. I throw it on every once in a while just to chill, and will always like bring me back to the 80s when things were good. No. Just kidding. Things are great now for me. But
did you ever play when Double Dragon Neon when they released that?
I did, and I just didn't get as. I need to probably try it again.
You should try it. I think it's a good game. It's not a great game, but if nothing else, what I would suggest is just download the soundtrack to that game, because it is every single hit from Double Dragon 1 and 2 remixed by Jake Kaufman.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
And also he has some original tracks in there which are amazing. Like they're like basically faux 80s and 90s tunes. And you'll kind of like there's a Little Shop of Horrors boss theme song, which is great. And like the ending theme song is perfect. I don't want to spoil anything, even though it's I think 10 years old at this point, but like I would definitely just check it out, but definitely listen to the soundtrack. It is awesome.
I'll play it again. I mean, I still own it, and I also Double Dragon 2 is also a game I have a lot of memories of and love. I can still actually remember buying that game. Like, I remember it was like at Children's Palace in Wichita, and I remember being at the counter and seeing the box because I'd seen the artwork in magazines that it was going to come out. But back in the day, games like didn't really have a release date. They had a release window, and they would just kind of show up. And I remember it was there, and I was like, "Oh my god, Double Dragon 2! Whoa, that's so amazing!" The sequel, and so I love that one too. So, and the music also is great. So I will, especially if you're recommending it, I will give that game another try. And the music.
Yeah, music is phenomenal. It's great.
Awesome.
But kind of circling back a little bit on the original game, I will say Double Dragon for the NES is one of those weird curiosities on the Nintendo. Like, I love that game, don't get me wrong, but it's weird and just like, hey, we can't make the arcade game at home, so how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And like what they came up with is different for sure. It still is recognizable as Double Dragon for sure, but it's like the little like experience system they have in there and all that kind of stuff is just, it's unique.
Yeah. I like it better than the arcade. I'll just say that. I know that's like an unpopular choice.
No, I totally get that. I think it definitely has a lot of it has a lot of they're trying to do things. Sorry, just can't articulate very well, but they're trying to do. You can see where the ambition is, and they by and large pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's different. It's not. I mean, the arcade game to me when I finally played it, I was just like, wow, this is slow.
Yeah,
like that was my reaction. I was like, this is so much slower. I actually like the GBA version, probably the best.
I never did play that one.
I bought it from you actually.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But that game I still like the NES version the best. But if we're going with the arcade-ish version, that's my favorite. I also tried the Sega Master System version.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's really good. It's really good. I just don't have the nostalgia for it that I do for the first one. But yeah, it's same with like. Yeah.
Can I tell you what the worst one is? Because I had that one.
Oh,
I had it for the Atari 2600. If you want to look up a real piece of shit, sorry for cursing on this, but if you want to look up like I love E.T., Double Dragon is no E.T. on the 2600.
That's awesome.
Like, it is bad. I highly recommend if you can find a copy of it just for morbid curiosity, play through the first level if you can. It is. Just think about trying to play that game with one button, and think about trying to have to play that game with them trying to approximate the arcade game, or even just a game where you punch it and kick, and you have to be kind of not pixel perfect, but just I will tell you, I somehow beat that game. And I think I drove myself crazy in doing it.
Wow.
So, homework for everybody. Just seek it out and see what you can do.
I mean, I love like video games. Obviously, I'm obsessed, and it's like one of the things that I'm most passionate about in my life. I played the Atari 2600 before the NES, and I was kind of like, like. That's how it just did not grab me. So I think I just wasn't around enough at the time, because I have trouble playing the 26. I like Kaboom. I also like Kaboom, and I like it's fun to like experiment with Pitfall, and it's really hilarious in that South Park episode. But I wish I liked it more. I just don't. But I'll try Double Dragon.
Fair. Just like I said, morbid curiosity. Expect nothing.
Expect nothing.
Expect nothing.
Expect nothing, and you will get it.
All right. Let's move on to a good game. Actually, one of the best, Jack.
Yeah. So I need to cleanse my palate just talking about Double Dragon. So my next game is Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy III here in the US. It's one of those games. It was one of the first games I bought myself as a kid. Like, I saved up money umpiring like Little League games the entire summer, and I bought Final Fantasy VI with my own money. It is an incredible story. Like, between the music, Uematsu-san doing amazing work, his best work, I think. It still is my top Final Fantasy soundtrack of all time. Sorry, Break, but that's the one.
It's okay. I'm totally okay with that. If you're gonna pick one to like better than 7, I'm totally okay with 6.
Yeah. So 6 is between the music, the gameplay. I mean, it is incredible. Like, the fighting system is great. It's fast paced. The active time battle is great. You don't have to just wait for your turn. Like, everybody's kind of, getting ready to fight and going through their turn. So it's a little more active than what other previous Final Fantasies had been. The Esper system is great you can basically teach everybody every single spell in the game if you really want to take the time to do it. And I did at one point. So it was kind of fun just going into the final battle and just having everybody cast Ultima. It was really silly, but it was great. But what really grabbed me, what really made it stick with me as a kid was, and spoilers, if you don't want to hear this, just close your ears for a few minutes, but like you get to a really big climax in the game, and it's like 30-40 hours in, and for a Super Nintendo game, I was like, we got to be getting close, man. Like, it is here. The Empire is doing some really bad stuff. They're trying to bring this island down, and they're going to blow up the world, and you're like, okay, let's go stop them. And they win. Like, you fight the ultimate fight, and they still win somehow. And so I've mentioned this maybe on another podcast we've done, but like, the bad guys win, and you have to pick up the pieces and kind of figure out where you go from there. And it really stuck with me for a long time. Like what does happen when the world ends? Like what do you do? Like, not everybody dies. And so it was really poignant in a fashion for me, and it really got me thinking about just larger like stories in games, and it really was one of the first games with a story that really just kind of affected me and made me think about it outside of the game. Yeah. And you think about you in the end, you do beat Kefka, you stop him, but the world is still completely destroyed. Like, you still just have your friends, and you've got to figure out, and basically you wonder, like, what are the next steps? Where do they go from here? Like, how do they restore some semblance of normalcy after that? And it's interesting. It's something you don't see explored a lot in video games.
Yeah. No, it is a really great. It's another one that I recommend everyone play, regardless of your taste in games, because the story is really, really awesome. And I still remember that, like, playing that game for the first time. And that was really why I was so excited for Final Fantasy VII. Like, Final Fantasy VI was what made me, like, super stoked and wanting to get 7 right away. Because I was like... And the weird thing was, even though I was so stoked and, like, kind of expecting Final Fantasy VI too, I was really okay with how different it was. Because it's very different. When I wasn't really with 8. But yeah, awesome choice. Logan and Darria, have you played this one?
No.
Sorry.
It's fine. You should check out the Pixel Remaster. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I should. I've been wanting to check out some of Square's Pixel Remasters.
Pretty cool on that one. So, but yeah, it's definitely a game that you should check out. Everybody in the universe.
I actually, believe it or not, I haven't actually played any of the Final Fantasy games yet personally. So, is there a good? I've watched 8 on the stream, but like I haven't done Final Fantasy because like RPGs aren't like a big genre for me. But I've been wanting to try some. So, is there a recommended starting point today with where
you take that one? Yeah, I was gonna say you take that one first.
But
No,
like the remaster or the OG?
Well, okay, it's a complicated question. Malachi, who does our reels, he hadn't played Final Fantasy. He's played tons of stuff, but he hadn't played Final Fantasy games, and he asked me like where to start, and I told him 7. And Darria actually also, played 7.
I haven't finished it, but I have started it.
You played a good chunk of it, and you watched me play quite a bit of it too. But it's hard for me to say which one between the original and the remaster. I like the original better. I like and obviously I love the remake. Like I love the remake, and I love from my previous list. But they just added so much extra stuff into it that I just think the story flows better in the original version of it. I'm not really a huge fan of all the extra stuff they added. However, I will say coming at it in from a modern setting, used to like how great modern graphics are.
I'm a big graphics person.
So I would say that you would probably want to start with the remake of both those. The thing about the first remake is just like the first town in Final Fantasy VII, which was my least favorite part of the original game. So like when I was like playing that, I was kind of like, oh my god, like I'm gonna play my least favorite part of this game for this whole entire thing. But it was actually really good, and I ended up like loving it and like getting really emotional because it was so good. But yeah, I would say start with the remake, and then
music. I love the music so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that music!
Much.
I mean, that's my favorite video game soundtrack too.
Yeah, 7 is a really good place to start. I mean, 3, the original 3 is pretty good with their job system, or is that 5?
That's 5.
Oh, okay. 5 has a job system. That's a really good one. But yeah, 5. I think 12 is actually a good place if you just want to kind of see what it is without like all the modern stuff. Well, I mean, that's me.
Jack has great taste. I'm just putting in my 2 cents.
Yeah, if you want kind of a distilled experience, like what was Final Fantasy before the modern era, 9 is a really good one.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like a traditional. It's like one of the first 2 Final Fantasies, but with like the PS1 graphics and a little more story talking about what is life.
Yeah.
I have heard from folks that 10 is a really good starting point, and that's Japan's favorite of all of them. Is 10 tends to come up on the top of the list, and there's a couple. Is there a bug in your room?
No. No, I just realized I had a forgotten memory just repop in my head. I played one Final Fantasy game. Barely.
It's like you were trying to find the memory.
I played just a tiny bit of the trial for Final Fantasy 14. Just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was awesome. That's gonna be a reel. No, Final Fantasy 10. Again, I prefer, even in the I would prefer to read rather than have it voice acted, because I like to kind of make up the characters in my head, even though like some of the performances, especially in 16, are really, really good. Even in the 7 remake, I would prefer that they not be spoken out loud. So you get that for the first time in 10, where you're having actors speak the lines and everything. And there's, the laughing thing. And one of the things, I knew a guy, he was in one of my projects, and he did voices. He did a lot of video game voices, and he did some for a few of the Final Fantasies. And one of the things he said, and I think they've gotten better at it now, was that the Japanese directors would direct the American actors to perform the lines as if they were in the Japanese. So when the inflections and stuff are kind of weird in Final Fantasy X, and there's that laughing scene that is famous for how awkward it is, it actually works really well in the Japanese. But they don't really, and maybe I think they're better now, but they just don't really get the difference in the languages, and so they're kind of wanting them to deliver the lines in the exact same way that the Japanese voice actors did, and the languages are so different, and that it can get a little awkward with the voice acting in places. And I always wondered why, because they're good voice actors, and that's why. Because it's the direction, and I don't even think it's bad direction. It's just like, I mean, let's us try to direct in like Vietnamese or like a different language that we don't like, French. We wouldn't be able to do it very well either. So Final Fantasy X, though, I will say, has one of my favorite, if not my favorite, systems in terms of the battle system. You can switch out your party members at any time. Which is really cool, and all I like when they have kind of their set thing, like Lulu is like a black mage, and each character kind of is set in what kind of thing they are, and you can, on the sphere grid, you can go wild and go anywhere on the sphere grid and get any ability if you want to spend a lot of time on it, but you kind of start in a section. I love the leveling up system in that one, probably better than any other. So that's, I don't know, what I would do, honestly, Logan, is I would, without looking at spoilers, look at kind of like an overview of what the game is, like the very top level story between 7 remake and 10, and I would look and see which one spikes your interest more, and go with that one. And then
I will say I've been very interested in the world of 7, given the aesthetics. Just for me, it's kind of fascinating seeing the more like technologically advanced kind of world thing going on that they've got in a fantasy like centered series. So it drew me in for that reason.
In the villain, I mean, Sephiroth is my favorite villain of any story in any medium ever. I've said this on the show. I wrote my thesis in college on Sephiroth, like on Final Fantasy VII. And a lot of it was on Sephiroth. And it actually made me like the game more because I didn't know a lot of the references they were making when I was playing the game when I was in 7th grade. But then when I was kind of revisiting it and using all the things that we'd learned in religious studies and applying all the symbolism, it actually made me like Sephiroth way more. Because they do a lot of that. Sephiroth in general comes from Jewish mysticism, and it's God's power on earth. So it works with, anyway, I don't need to talk about 7 all night, but it's good. I like it. Some people don't, and that's fine. And the only reason I don't say 6 is just because graphically, I know you like graphics, but like the story is phenomenal, as Jack said. Like it's probably my second favorite, and it's pretty close to 7. And then 10's probably third.
I'm not like hardcore, like I have to have the best graphics, because like I'm actually pixel graphics I'm pretty cool with. But like early 3D can sometimes be a bit rough for me, although I like it as a style now and people like do it intentionally. But like sometimes like just the early consoles don't quite do it for me when they're like breaking into 3D, because I'm so used to modern 3D.
PlayStation 1 hack grid.
Early 3D can be rough, and I there was a while, like when 3D first came in, I was actually disappointed at the very first, because I love pixel graphics, and to me it looked worse even at the time than pixel graphics. And so I've kind of come around on that, though. If I ever get to my next and there's no way, I'll have to talk about it another day about that. But yeah, it was a good discussion. I love that.
Yeah.
All based on Jack's phenomenal pick. So
cool. I guess last thing I'll say on that is I did enjoy the graphics in 8 though, because of how creative they were. How well they used it. But anyway.
Yeah, they did a nice job, and that pushes the PlayStation like almost to its limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Logan, what's your next pick? And then, because we're getting close to wrap time.
So my next pick, probably a unique one, is Jackbox, which is actually a more recent thing for me. Within the past few years is when I was first introduced to Jackbox, and it has since then become a tradition for my friends and I. So I've got a relatively large group of friends that is at this point spread across the state. So when we get together, which is multiple times a year, we like to spend the whole day together, like around, one major event. The most recent one was the Minecraft Revenge of the Sith double feature. But we'll usually do the thing and then go and chill somewhere and usually get out a Switch and start playing Jackbox. And I just love all the options for creative party games to play with your friends. Like there's a few of them, a few favorites we've got are like Job, where people are basically just supposed to like word vomit about topics that the game prompts, and then you take these people's like things and pull words to create your own answers to questions. It's kind of fun. And then there's like Quiplash, where your goal is to create like the most like stupid or like funny answer to prompts and stuff, like lots of word games. And
so which Jackbox or which game in Jackbox is your favorite? Because I know I've got my favorites.
I think Whiplash and actually TKO.
TKO is really good. Have you done Super TKO yet?
I have not. None of us have the newest Jackbox yet. We've been playing on 8 and 7 and 4 for a while.
I've not played Jackbox.
Oh, dude, you gotta try it. Like, in fact, I actually think it would be really fun if we streamed that as
that would be fun.
That would be awesome. We get the guests or the
does it have online multiplayer?
It does.
Online, online multiplayer. It streams really well, and we could even get the audience involved too, which is awesome.
What one would you recommend I start with? Which one?
Well,
we could start with the newest one because I haven't played it yet. That'd be kind of fresh for most of us.
Yeah, it's like what kills me about the whole thing. I love Jackbox. Don't get me wrong. I love You Don't Know. I love You Don't Know Jack. Going way back to the originals.
It's a spin. I played those back in the day.
Oh yeah, no, same guys. They're still doing it, man.
Oh wow. Okay.
What kills me is
I'm down.
Like every single collection. There's like 3 bangers, and then there are 2 just like. You guys want to play this other one? Sure. Let's play Quiplash again. All right, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's why we've got like a few that we just rotate. Like we always just touch like the best ones in a pack and then just go over to a different pack or whatever. I'll say.
Go ahead.
Another game we could stream sometime in a similar vein that my friends discovered recently is King of the Castle, which is essentially this like party game where one person is controlling this kingdom and the rest of you are like lords and you're all trying to like manage this kingdom and secretly overthrow the king. That'd be a fun one to try sometime too. But anyway.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. Yeah, so like let's see, Quiplash, Fibbage, let's see, You Don't Know Jack. Drawful is probably my other favorite on there.
I haven't tried that one yet. Mostly because the friends I play with aren't terribly interested in it, but I'd be down to try it.
And then Trivia Murder Party is always fun too.
What console, PC, device?
Everything.
But which one do you guys have it on? So I know to get so we can play it together.
I have 1 through 9 on Steam. So like
I've got 8
only
on
one of us.
Steam, and then my friends have it on Switch.
Yeah, theoretically,
I don't have any of them, but I was gonna get it on the Switch.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is.
Sorry.
Theoretically, no, it's fine. Sorry.
The way you said it sounded so unimpressed that she was. I know you didn't mean it, but
no.
It sounded like the Switch. No, you have nothing to be sorry about. It was just like
I think
a combination.
Which is actually great though because you can just plug it into someone else's TV and have a good time in the living room. Like,
yep. And that's the cool. That's the cool thing is we only need 1 copy of it because you play on your phone. So like. Just one person streams it, everybody else just plays on their phone, joins the room. It's great. Like, kudos to them. Kudos to them for making it really easy. You don't have to know how to use the controller. You just use your phone, and that's it. Like anybody can figure it out.
Awesome. So I should get it on Steam. Is that what we're saying?
For streaming, might be easiest that way, but like it literally works on anything. So.
All right. Well, just let me know what you guys want to do because I would. That sounds like a fun time. So
It's really great.
Speaking of a fun time, Darria, what is yours?
Back to one that I've referenced a few different times, but Jack and Dexter. This one, like, there's just so many memories tied to this specific game, in different places that I've lived, and one of like the prominent memories that I have is when we were living in California at the time, and my sister and I like were sharing a room. I had one half of the room, she had the other. I know it was my dad literally
sitcom, yeah.
My dad literally built thing to split the room in half.
Family ties.
We had a little TV on my side.
I'm imagining the TV being really cute. By the way, you said that.
It's a little thing that we would play. Hook the PlayStation up to, and we didn't have a memory card at the time, so we would just leave it on, leave the PlayStation on, so we didn't lose our game because we wanted to finish the game.
Reminds me of my mom's phone in Minecraft.
Yeah.
And there would be lots of like arguments about like when it was whose turn it was to play, when we could play, or like if we needed help with something, asking my dad if he could come help us. And then as we got older and my sister found that there were other games, it kind of became more of her thing. But it was something that we did kind of like take turns on. And eventually we beat the game. Like mostly it was her playing, but because it's pretty much like her favorite games. But we did kind of beat it together, kind of playing on and off. And yeah, just lots of memories tied to that specific game. I remember especially I think it was like Spider Cave or something like that. I don't know if that was the actual name of that particular area, but that was the one that was always like the freakiest. But yeah, that's probably my next pick.
Nice. Well, I played those games because of you. So thank you. Good picks. All right, we've decided to go one more round. Is that right?
Yep.
Is that right?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I've got one more pick.
One more pick.
And we'll do one more round. Darria is running out of meaning in her life now. I'm just I just have to say that.
Harsh.
Yeah, I know it's not true. So,
I know.
All right. So, going back. So, next game, and this is actually one of my absolute favorite games of all time. But Final Fantasy Tactics is a game. I remember I'd beaten Final Fantasy VII, and I was at the store. I hadn't really read anything about Tactics. But I remember like talking to the girl that worked at the game store. It was like at Sears. And I was like, I just asked her like, okay, I loved Final Fantasy VII. And she also loved Final Fantasy VII. I was like, okay, what should I play next? And she's like, Final Fantasy Tactics. I was like, I don't want to play a strategy game. Like I just wasn't into strategy at the time. And she's like, just try it. You're gonna like it. So like, and because she liked Final Fantasy VII so much, I took her advice, and she also said she didn't like strategy games. So I took it home, and like the story in that game, I think is really really cool. It has a lot of confusing things, but it does have a really interesting story with like corruption in the church and factions and classes and all sorts of stuff that was honestly a bit over my head when I first played it. When I remember Shadow got it like almost exactly when I did.
So before I'd gotten very far, I was actually going to visit him for the week, and we ended up playing that game pretty much the whole time.
Oh man!
And like I just remember the music is so good, and we were like obsessed with the job system and trying to like figure out how to get the different jobs that we wanted, and like I remember we always seemed to be geomancers for like ever, and those attacks just didn't seem to ever land quite how we wanted them to. But we wanted to be a ninja so we could have 2 weapons. But and then I don't know, that game is really, really great. It has some fabulous quotes that I occasionally post on Instagram. And then a few years later, I think it was like freshman in high school, a friend, a new friend, he liked Final Fantasy, but he hadn't played Tactics. And so I had him play it, and then he got super into it, and like, you know, I watched him play the whole game. And then a couple years ago, I replayed Final Fantasy Tactics.
I remember that.
Yeah, very recently. It was honestly actually to test something with the PS1, and I just threw it on, and then I was like, man, I haven't played this game since like 2000. So I played through it, and it was just as good as I remembered. Since it is pixel art, it is aged really, really well. And there's a patch for it that I used on the PS1, and it makes the script a little bit better. It's a better translation. It takes a lot from the PSP version of it. But it doesn't have the, like, whenever you do an attack on the PSP version, it like stops. So it doesn't have, it has all the, like, the benefits of that. It also rebalances it a little bit to make it a little bit, not necessarily easier, but fairer. It does a lot of kind of the issues with the game that existed. It fixes most of them, and it makes it an even better experience, and takes away a lot of the frustrations. But I had just as much fun playing it again. One of my absolute favorite stories, one of my absolute favorite games, definitely my favorite strategy RPG, like by far. And I played like the ones on GBA, and I think there was a DS one too. And I just didn't like those as much, even though it's like the same gameplay pretty much. I didn't like it how they made it less mature. I mean, the story in Final Fantasy Tactics is like super mature. I mean, there's betrayal and death, and like, you know, the priest literally becomes like a monster in like part of it, and like, you know, there's family betrayal, and I mean, it was like when I first played it in, what was that, like 7th grade, I think, around that time, maybe 6th grade. It was a little over my head, and I played it mostly for the gameplay. But then when I played it in high school, I was really enjoying the story. So if you haven't played it, play it. Yeah. It's a great game. There's a lot of grinding in it. Yes, so if you're not into the grinding, you know, and don't have time to do the grinding, like, I wouldn't judge you if you use something to make that much faster for you, so you can still enjoy the game. Because like that's one of the things with getting older, is like when you're a kid and you can just play a game all day, grinding's not that bad because it's kind of fun. But when you have such a limited time to play, I don't like grinding.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what ultimately turned me off of the first Final Fantasy Tactics game. Like, I really enjoyed the story, but like, you would get into some of those scenarios and you're just like, how am I supposed to do this? They're killing me in like 2 shots.
Yep.
And so like, it's like, oh no, I got to go grind and like fight these little battles for a little while.
Yep.
And it really just, it turned me off. I will say on the opposite side of that too, the GBA one I really liked. Like, I really liked the GBA Final Fantasy Tactics over the original, and I think it is because of just some of those quirks of the original game. Just you didn't have to grind as much. You didn't like there weren't as many little idiosyncrasies, and it did feel a little more fair versus the difficulty level on the original game. So I thought the scenario was fun, but I certainly don't begrudge it. I think it's a fantastic game. Story's great, but I couldn't sit through it when I tried to play through it the first time, just because of the grinding just absolutely killed me.
If you if you're interested at all in finishing it, and I know you have a lot of games to play, but the patch, if you get the patched version, and then I would even like use whatever you're using to play it to just make you level up faster. It's a lot of fun that way, especially now when there's like limited time, just to go through the story, because it's worth playing for the story. I don't know if you've spoiled the ending for yourself or not, but the ending was pretty surprising to me. I did not expect what happened. So it was
I haven't. I've somehow gone this long without having the ending spoiled, so I do need to check it out.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you would like it, and it gets, and you can recruit Cloud, you know.
Yeah.
And Aerith, wait, no, Aerith's in it, but you can't recruit her. But yeah, you can have, and Cloud can do Omni Slash, which we thought was so cool when we got him. That was actually the first book I ever ordered from Amazon, was the Final Fantasy Tactics Strategy Guide. And I sent them a check.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have it. But, all right, Jack.
Yeah,
what's the next one? Talk about a game you've never talked about on the show before.
Right. No, so my next one, similar to one of Break's, is no surprise. It's Halo on the original Xbox. Halo Combat Evolved, again, like it's kind of just one of those time and place things. Like, I was very much against getting an Xbox because I didn't want to buy a Microsoft console, and then one of the guys at the college dorms brought it in, got one, and the next thing I knew, it was like 7 o'clock on a Friday night, and the next thing I knew, the sun was coming up Saturday morning, and I was just like, "Wait, what? Did we just play that all night?" And yeah, it was just like, we just basically played four-player Slayer like all night long, and like didn't even bat an eye. And so I was just like, okay, I know what I'm getting this summer when I get home and have a job again. So Halo, between me and my brother, Break, you and me and all of our friends playing it, and everybody down in Wichita, I've made so many friends because of Halo. Like we've had an awesome ride because of that game, and like not even just what it's done for just relationships wise. Like, it is just an awesome game. Like, Bungie still to this day, like if you see they're putting out a first-person shooter, you know that game's going to handle really, really well. They know how to do shooting very, very well. And like the foundation of all of that, you could say Marathon if you want to, but the foundation of all that is Halo. It is an incredible game that did a lot of things on console shooters that just weren't being done at that time. Story is good. I won't say it's great, but it's good. The characters are interesting. The lore is extremely interesting if you want to really dig into it. The music is fantastic. And just the way it kind of has its pseudo physics, it was something that really just kind of made it feel a little more alive. The game logic for the enemies was smart in a sense.
It was, yeah.
It really made you feel like you were fighting against, and like if you crank the difficulty up, you could really give yourself a hard time, and like it wasn't unfair, but like you messed up, you knew where you messed up. And it's other than the library, which is the worst part of the game by a very fair margin, it is in my book one of the best single player experiences, especially first person shooting experiences out there still today. But hands down one of my favorite multiplayer games. It's anytime I hear that the theme song, the monks chant, the monks singing on the menu screen, like I just know, like, all right, here we go. I'm either gonna play this for like a half an hour and have to leave, or I'm gonna be here all night. So
no, I was playing Forza Horizon 5 yesterday and listened to the classical music radio station, and that theme appeared over the radio station, and I just started jamming. That was amazing.
It's such a great theme.
Yep.
It's one of the best themes in video games. But I'm happy to say that I really saw Halo probably before most people, and always sorry, I can't say it with a straight face.
I was like,
Where
are you going with this?
I was ready for Jack to jump in and slap me, and then I just couldn't not laugh. No, I totally saw Halo wrong. I think really because of Penny Arcade making fun of it so much, and also what Jack was saying about not wanting to buy a Microsoft console. I was really against them entering the race, and it seemed very much like a PC to me, which I just didn't want that, and I really ignored everything that was Halo. And I got an when I graduated high school. I got, you get graduation money, and I got an Xbox and Halo with that.
Yeah.
And it like when I first played it, I was kind of like, like this is better than I thought it was gonna be. And then the music like really hit me because I had no idea. No one told me about the music. No one said anything to me about the music, and it was so good. And then we did, and I liked the campaign, but then we did the multiplayer. We did the LAN party thing with Richie and then a few other people. Actually, that ended up being on the forums later. But and that was so much fun. I've never seen Richie get more angry at a game. He was so angry. He was like white in the face. He like go in the bathroom and like rinse his face off. But no, I think Halo 1, I think, is my favorite of the Halos. I'm not saying it's the best one, but it's my favorite of all the Halos. And also, one thing I'll say, too, is the sound design in it is really fantastic. And it has really good surround sound. It's the first game that I played ever that had really, really good surround sound. Like, really well done surround sound. And it's even better, I would say, than some of the modern games in terms of how it handled separation and surrounding you. So it's a great game. I was totally wrong on it for a very long time, and then continued to act like I didn't like it, even though I liked it for a while. But ultimately gave in a lot because of Jack.
I wear people down. It's all right.
You did. The first time I met you, you were like, I was like, I don't like the Xbox, and you're like, you haven't played Halo yet. And I was like, I have, and it sucks. And you were like, give me this look, like, yeah. And then, so Halo's great. I have a different Halo on my list. It's not the one I like the most, but I have some light memories with it, and I won't get to it tonight, but maybe another time. Wow, right then it said Rise from Your Grave from Altered Beast. That was a really good transition. Logan, what is your
Okay, so here's a game you've probably never heard of before. Duck Life.
I guarantee you Jack's heard of it. He's heard of the game.
I haven't heard of Duck
Wow,
Life.
you stumped Jack.
Cool. So this is another Flash game, kind of like Dino Run and Gravity Falls Pines Quest from last week. Played it on Cool Math Games, which was a haven for all of us elementary schoolers at the time.
Yes, I remember those, like the Fun Brain, Math Brain. I love that. Yep.
So, but this one in particular was all about racing ducks. You'd get a duck at the start of the game, and you would like feed it and raise it and train it, and then race it. And I don't know, I would spend hours just training ducks and racing them, and it was amazing. I spent way too long on that game, but it has some of my strongest memories from Cool Math Games in that period of my life, playing games on the internet.
Man. So hear me out. What if we did a new one of those and we introduced gambling into it?
Well, I mean, they might have done it, maybe. I don't remember Duck Life 4 as well, but that one's probably the most advanced. Like, they had a whole, like, farm and stuff and lots of different things, like cosmetics and stuff. So, like, there was, they could have been in that game. I don't quite remember. I think the most wild one was 3, though. Like, they introduced evolution, so there was, like, some crazy, like, super-powered, like, ducks. It was insane.
We got to make sure you breed the right ducks, right? Get the best.
Exactly.
Hey, it's not that kind of show. Next thing, you'll be breeding chocobos.
I have a kitty to say hello.
Oh, that is a kitty cat.
Hi, kitty.
Intruder alert. Nice. Duck Life.
Yep.
Duck Life.
I think you can
Life.
still play it. It's not lost media.
All right. Darria. Oh, wait, no. It's time for the chat. Chatty chat. Last chat round. If you want to say something, you better say it quick because chat's going away, but if you are watching this, like most of you do, after it's live, please comment. I mean, we do read those. I know I always encourage you to do it during the live show, but we do read the later ones too. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll skim through the chat here real quick. Johnny Graphics says, I feel the same way about the NES as Breakman does about the 2600. I respect it, but it just doesn't grab me.
I can feel that.
Yeah. And then
I
Storm
think it's
Eagle
like
says,
that for a lot of people.
Yeah, early consoles. It depends. I suppose if you were there, it probably hits more, but like if you're coming back to it, it might be hit or miss depending on your sense or your taste in games.
I can see that. The game that I've hooked the younger students up, because we in my video game class we go through like every generation starting with the 2600. Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah.
People love that game. Even they've never played like before. They really like to play that one over and over again. So it's a good one. I mean, it's one of my favorite football games.
There's a reason they keep releasing roster updates for it unofficially every year.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So next one from Storm Eagle. OMG Jack, you're right. Double Dragon on the 2600 is a POS. Looking it up on my phone, lol. How have I never seen this before? I'm gonna have to look this up too. Like
seriously, it's bad. Just I mean, you don't even have to play it. Just watch a video of somebody trying to play it. It's yeah.
Okay, and then got some recommendations from Storm Eagle. Great Final Fantasy game to start with is 9 or 7, 6 or 4. And Storm Eagle also says Final Fantasy VI is a masterpiece game, as well as the best story in all Final Fantasy games.
Really good. Second best story, but really good.
Preach.
Okay. And then, so Firebrand X says, I completed the NES version of Double Dragon on one man. Then later, when I watched The Wizard in the theater, I chuckled over, you got 65,000 in Double Dragon.
Man, that movie, I tell you what, it is something.
It is. But you know what? Like, when you were young, you never got to see video games in, like, anything. I loved The Wizard when I was, like, a little kid because it's like video games were in something. But yeah, it is, like, a not good movie. But video games were in it. And that's how I saw Super Mario 3 the first time.
Yep. As well as, what, like, probably 4 or 5 million people in the United States.
Yep.
All right. And then the last comment from the chat. Storm Eagle says, I've made more buddies playing Halo than almost any other game ever. So many great times from Halo 1 through 5, ODST Reach, Halo Wars 1 and 2, and Infinite. Always a good time.
God, I'll never forget. Q got so mad. I don't know if y'all remember Kitsune from way back in the day, Brendan. But Brendan loved to hassle Q with the Halo song because Q hated Halo, and he would get it like playing on repeat. And oh my God, he blew up at him. We're waiting for the bus at KU, and Brendan, he was so embarrassed because it like created a scene. And I just like slowly backed away. It got pretty intense. But yeah, I think both of them would agree it was funny now. But such great music. All right, Darria.
Yes.
I think this is becoming your Halo, as Halo is for Jack.
It is. It very much is.
Which is great.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Like one of my favorite stories, just in general, like with like your Final Fantasy VII. And it's funny because I first watched the gameplay of it, of someone online, like on YouTube, because I couldn't like play it at the time, and I was just so enamored with the story. and the graphics, just the journey that you're on with Aloy, and the things that you find out about like the way that the world is, and these machines, and the sound design of like the sound design and the character design of the machines that you encounter is just incredible. And like the graphics improvements in Forbidden West is amazing. The way that water looks in that game is incredible.
Oh, I love water in games. Nothing will beat sunshine. It's an open wound. Sorry, Darria, continue.
But if like there's just something that these games like give me like a sense of like, I don't know, it makes me think about like the state of the world as it is now, and like climate wise, like ecologically, like I don't know,
you're like at the sorry go ahead.
No, like what's the point where you can't go back?
Yeah,
we're like halfway through episode 5 or episode 3, like in life.
I was gonna say, like, you're starting to wonder at what point, like if I find out that multimillionaires or multi-billionaires are building gigantic robot dinosaurs, I'm out of here, kind of thing.
Well, see, and it wasn't even like, see, I don't want to ruin spoil the story, so I won't spoil anything. But like, it has to do with like millionaires and like billionaires, like in the downfall of those decisions that they've made.
They just want what's best for you.
And so, and what had to be done to preserve.
I want to play that game now.
Preserve the way that life was going to be. And so I don't know, there's the overall story that you have with Aloy, discovering about this world 1,000 years in the future, because that's what it said. It's set 1,000 years in the future, and she's trying to figure out why are all these ruins here. And there's the more immediate story that has to deal with kind of the tie to that, why she is so important, and this kind of mix of like, you have this technology that still exists in these like machines, but why are they here? And that's kind of like the journey that you go on. And Forbidden West just kind of expands it to a larger world, and I'm pretty sure the sequel will expand it even further. But it's truly one of my favorite stories, especially the journey that Horizon Zero Dawn takes you in, like discovering each bit of the story.
But let me ask you this: is there any way to make it more linear?
There's like usually, I will look up a guide, but there's like it categorizes the quests for you. Like there's errands, there's like
I don't want to run errands in games. That's actually, I stopped playing Majora's Mask because I felt like I was running continuous errands. I'll probably try it again though.
It categorizes as side quests, but you do have main quests that you have. Like there's usually like 2 tracks of main quests, like the 2 that I just described, that you can just follow. Now there are additional things that you can do that will help your progress in the game, like doing the tall necks that open up parts of the map so that you can see more, that reveal more parts of the map, but they're not required, but they do help. But if you just follow the main quests, you can get the main story.
Well, I will try it because I do want to experience the story.
And if you have the Horizon Zero Dawn like original game, you can get the remaster for $10.
Yeah.
Which
It's a really
is pretty
good remaster
great.
too.
It's fantastic. I'm forgetting I'm searching for the word, but it implements all of the like lighting features of like Forbidden West and all those kind of graphical like improvements into Zero Dawn.
Cool. Yep. Pretty great.
So, but yeah, that's all that I have.
Honestly, between Zero Dawn and Control is like the next big game I'll probably end up like picking up and playing.
Control.
Those two, like it'd be Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Control as like my top two like favorite games.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play Zero Dawn longer, but y'all have sold me on Control too. So like,
other than Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, Control is probably my favorite game, PS4 and later.
And they're coming out with a sequel, and there's a multiplayer coming out.
I can't wait for Firebreak. That's gonna be so good.
Hold on. I think it was because I saved the picture. Yes, it is being released. Oh, it just says that what the deluxe edition is. Doesn't say what the release date is, but it's soon. Next couple months.
Yeah, I think Firebreak's by the end of the month.
Ooh.
Is it?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was May or June.
I think it's May. I've been seeing ads for it pop up on Facebook here recently, so I think it's pretty soon.
Nice. Well, very cool. Well, this was fun. I really liked hearing y'all's stories.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't say y'all until I lived in California, and I don't know why that is, because no one said it out there. You listen to any of the old shows, I never used to say y'all, but now I do. I don't know why. Weird. Jack, what would you like to say before you're gonna ride off into the sunset?
Man, I just would like to say thank you to Tony Gilroy. For those of you that have watched all the released episodes of Andor, oh my god, I cannot wait for next Tuesday. Like, it cannot get here fast enough. I really liked last week's episodes, and then this week really just kind of really was like I my heart was in my throat for about 90 minutes watching all three episodes back to back to back. If you're an Andor fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, check it out. Understand if you want to wait till next week when all the episodes are out, but do not skip the season of Andor. It's fantastic.
I'm excited to watch it next week.
So good.
And Logan, what would you like to tell us?
I will be watching Andor, but man, I've been on a Daredevil wave.
Yeah.
I've already made it through the first 3 seasons and loved it. So I'm about to start Born Again. But
nice.
Yeah. Such a good show.
Nice. And Darria.
Also, I did check. It is June 17th that Firebreak, FBC Firebreak comes out. But yeah, so I'm super excited for that. And yeah, just kind of grinding through everything else right now. So
Awesome.
Nothing too much from me.
Well, I saw your text. So Nintendo is apparently sending out pre-order stuff, the first invites tomorrow, and I registered that frickin' thing like right when you could. So I better get it, Nintendo. I was
like, I have notifications on for the guy that I follow on Twitter, who initially did those announcements for the PS5 and Xbox, and he also does that for the Switch and like GPUs, things like that.
Nice. Wow. Awesome.
So
well, I'm hoping that
and
tomorrow...
I got a notification while we were going, so I sent that to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully tomorrow's the day. I think it's going to be. It's going to be my day tomorrow. But I'm excited for that, and we will see you same time next week on the game show.